brachas of Rosh Hashanah, exactly what is Rosh Hashanah all about. Before we even start the last week's high Elul season, which is about birthdays, I want to just ask a few questions. What are all the different names of this holiday Rosh Hashanah has, besides Rosh Hashanah, which, by the way, there's no mentioning anywhere in the Chumash the name Rosh Hashanah. Interesting. Everyone knows it by that name. You won't find anywhere in the Chumash. In fact, almost anywhere in Tanakh, including, and the only place you find it in Tanakh, Yecheskel, is where it refers to Yom Kippur as Rosh Hashanah. So there's not even a place throughout the entire Tanakh, let alone Chumash, where the holiday Rosh Hashanah is referred to as Rosh Hashanah. It has another name, Yom HaZikaron. Anyone know another name? That's the name of the month, but that's not the name of it. Yeah, it's in the 7th month. That's what it says in Chumash, by the way. In the first day of the 7th month, doesn't say a word about blowing shofar, by the way. Yom Adin, very good. Yom Adin, Yom HaZikaron, and Yom Truah, a day of blowing. Blowing what? Blowing your nose? Say what you blow with. Blow the trumpets? There's no mention of shofar anywhere concerning Rosh Hashanah. Huh?
In Hebrew, it's only shofar. You can,
but there's no mentioning of shofar in the Chumash. That's what I'm saying. Where do you find it? You find it in Tanakh. You find it in Tehillim. Think about Chol Shofar, the Thursday, every Thursday we say Shir Shayom. That's where you have where Tkiyah Shofar is mentioned concerning Rosh Hashanah. Oh.
You go to the aisle?
Of course. I mentioned your name amongst everyone else's. Whatever was here in the last class. If you weren't here, I didn't have them. If you were here last class, I mentioned your name. I didn't get any answers. But I'm sure the one above and the Rabbi gives all his brachas to you. Okay. Yeah. It's another strange, anomaly, enigma about Rosh Hashanah is that it's the first day of Aseret Yemei Tshuva, and we don't say Tachanun, we don't go. There's no confession, but you're not allowed to confess on Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur, oh boy, Al Chet, 11 times, about 100 different Al Chet, few hundred. Rosh Hashanah, we omit the words Avinu Malkeinu Chatonu Levonecha. The first line. Our Father, our King, we have sinned. No, don't mention that. Yet it's called the first day of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva. One of the 10 reasons why we blow shofar, by the way. Anyone know all the 10 reasons? Who knows all the 10 reasons? Who gave all the 10 reasons? Madricha probably knows. Who gave all the 10 reasons? Rab Sadia Goin. You know what Rab Sadia Goin was? He lived before Rashi, about 100 years before Rashi, and about 200 years before the Rambam. He lists 10 reasons why we blow shofar. You want to hear the 10 reasons? No. Okay.
Yes.
If I don't hear any feedback, the answer is no.
The answer is yes.
One of them has around we can't sit so.
Very good. That's only 1 out of 10.
It's like supposed to wait.
And that is reason number 6. I'll give you the reason. First is the most common. If you're Chabad Chassid or Chasida, you know the first one. And that is, we're going in chronological order, really. Adam HaRishon was created on Rosh Hashanah, on the first day. He actually was created on Aleph Tishrei, the day we celebrate Rosh Hashanah. The world was created 6 days earlier on Chaf Hei Elul, the Elul before the world. I mean, visually, there's no Elul, but it's 6 days before Aleph Tishrei is Chaf Hei Elul. Interesting. It's coming up to Shabbos, Chaf Hei Elul, the day of creation. Adam, man, the human species, was created on Friday, which was the 6th day of the week. That was Rosh Hashanah, and we celebrate that. What did he do when he was created? He gathered all the species, all the mammals, all the fish, all the reptiles, and said, saying, let us bow, let us kneel, let us prostrate ourselves before God, our Maker. And therefore, just as he did that, we also coronate Hashem on that very same day, like the first man did. We crown Hashem as king, and it's customary that when you crown a king, talk about a king who is beloved, not someone who's dictator, who doesn't ask for your vote, but someone who is not willing to be king, and the people are begging and begging and begging, and they're coronating him, trying to invoke his will to be our Melech. The simcha, the joy, would be associated with trumpets. hasotzros. Well, the shofar is in place of the trumpets. So since it was customary to crown a king with trumpets, we do it with a shofar. Because trumpets sounds like a simcha, and we're trying to show that we are subordinate to the king. We're crying from the depths of our heart. That's what the shofar represents. Okay, that's reason number one. Hachtaras HaMelech. The Tzemach Tzedek called the night of Rosh Hashanah Koronatsianach, coronation night. The king says Hashem's kingdom is like fading. How could that be? And how's the world existing? You know, Hashem is Malucha. And it says Hashem Yimloch L'olam V'ed. Hashem is a king forever. What do you mean his kingdom is fading? His desire, his gishmak to be our king. He's doing it as without any enjoyment. Hashem says, let me have a chayis in what I'm doing. And if I invest all my energy, godly energy, in creation, you will sense me. It'll be a godly year. Make America godly again, not just great again. How do you make America great again? Bringing God into the world.
You don't think we should have a separation between church and state
Kas v'shalom.
in a secular society?
Kas v'shalom. No, the contrary, but it has nothing to do with that anyway, so let's not get into that now. We'll get into politics. Okay, so that's the second reason. That's first reason. What's the second reason? It's the first day of Aseret Yemei Tshuva. An announcement, guys, girls, men and women, even children, it's time to start. Don't say we didn't remind you. It's time to wake up and do tshuva. The third, commemorate Maimed Har Sinai. When we were standing at Har Sinai, the shofar was blown then. How were we feeling then? Completely subordinate to the one above. Na'aseh v'nishma. What an incredible sight that was. Every single Jew in the world, every convert, everyone was there. All the neshamas were there. Everyone, billions of people, if you're counting all the souls, maybe even trillions. And we all in unison proclaim Na'aseh v'nishma. Remember that. You heard the shofar? The shofar reminds you of Maimed Har Sinai, number 3. We're going in order. See, the first one was related to the creation of the world, creation of Adam. The second one is Maimed Har. The second one is the fact that Aseret Yemei Tshuva, which is also connected to that. And then the third one is Maimed Har Sinai. The fourth one is not a very well known one. There's a pasuk in Tanakh which compares hearing what a prophet says to the hearing of a shofar. The shofar is a metaphor for for prophets. When they speak and they're giving out warnings, you better listen to them. Heed, because they know what's going on up there, and they're handing down the message down here. They're Hashem's shliach to tell the world what Hashem wants. So make sure to listen to them. Again, the shofar is a metaphor, a muscle for a navi. And there's a pasuk in Tanakh to prove that point. Huh?
Where,
Pasuk it's in where is the pasuk? I think it's in Yeshaya, but I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Yes, chapter 32.
Here it says, be careful to listen and do not violate the words of a navi, and it refers to a navi as a shofar. Hear the sound of a shofar, meaning the sound of a navi. The fifth reason, reminding ourselves of the Churban Beis Hamikdash, the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. When they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash, there was musical sounds of a simcha. Wow, what a joy! We defeated the Jewish people. We destroyed Yerushalayim. Remember that we have no Beis Hamikdash, and daven to Hashem on Rosh Hashanah for the rebuilding of the third Beis Hamikdash. That's number 5. Number 6 was already mentioned. Ayil Shel Yitzchak, the ram's horn. It's a reminder of the Akedah, because what did Avraham Avinu do when he was told not to touch Yitzchak? As a substitute, he brought the ayil, the ram's horn. That was in place of Yitzchak. Then Hashem uttered his oath. I promise, I swear that I will always remember you for this. We want that source. We also want to invoke within ourselves the power of Mesiras Nefesh, self-sacrifice. Just like Avraham did it, he opened the gates for all of us to have that kind of Mesiras Nefesh. Okay, that's number 6. Number 7, when you hear a shofar, here's a pasuk in Tanakh also, in Amos. If the sound of a shofar is heard, will you not be trembling? It just wakes you up. So it's not reminding you of the Aseret Yemei Tshuva, it just in itself shakes you out of your everyday habits. Number 8, to remind ourselves of the Yom Hadin it's so unfair. So many evil people never got their due. You know, they lived a good life. The Nazis still lived a good whole life, and they never were punished. We will see the Yom Hadin where God will take revenge on all those people that murdered Jews, and they'll be accompanied with a Tkiyah shofar right before that. Number nine is that when we'll have Mashiach, there's going to be a long, you talk about shofar gadol, there's going to be a gigantic, powerful sound of a shofar, which is why the Satan gets scared whenever he hears a shofar in shul. He gets scared. Maybe that's the real one. Maybe that's the real deal. I'm out of a job. Once Mashiach comes, I can retire. Who wants to retire? He wants to keep going. It's the end of his existence. So he fights. He gets scared, and when the Satan gets scared, he loses his ability to prosecute. Why? Because when Mashiach will come, the first thing will be a Tkiyah shofar, heralding his coming into the world. And the final one is before Tchiyas HaMesim, there'll be a sound of a shofar. This is also mentioned in Tanakh. Kol Yoshvei Seibel v'Shochnei Eretz, all those that are living in the world and are dwelling in earth, meaning people that have passed away. Kineso Neis Harm, we'll be able to see like a banner on top of mountains, and we'll hear the sound of a shofar as they will be resurrected. So Tchiyas HaMesim is the final finale of all. And this is the 10 reasons that Rav Sadia Goin, called Rasag. Rav Sadia Goin, again, he lived before the era of the Rishonim. Remember the Gemara class? He lived about 100 years before Rashi. Over about 1100 years ago, in the 10th century. Rav Sadia Goin. Okay, back to the Sikha of Chayel Sikha. Ariella. Mayashim. Basia, not Basia. Amy, not Amy, no Amy, right? The name of mentioned. The oil. Mention your name. I mentioned your name. Mentioned Bailey's name, but whoever wasn't here, I couldn't remember. But it's never too late. I'm going again, Rosh Hashanah, before Rosh Hashanah. Whoever is here now, will get your name, your mother's name, and we will pass it on to the Rebbe right before Rosh Hashanah. Unfortunately. Yeah. Chai Elul. So we talked about the idea of Chai Elul being the birthday of the two luminaries. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I want to just go through it quickly, but I want to get to the Sikha of Chana. Powerful Sikha. Oh boy. So Chai Elul is Chai, means life, but it also represents the birthday of the two luminaries, great luminaries of Chassidus, the world of Chassidus. The founder of Chassidus in general, of course, was the Baal Shem Tov, who was born in 1698. Then we have the Alter Rebbe, who was born in the year 1745. Kahos, Nachas, and these two great tzaddikim were called luminaries by the previous Rebbe's father and by the previous Rebbe, and we make a big deal out of their birthday to the extent that the previous Rebbe's father said, Rebbe Rashab said to the Frierdiker Rebbe, it's a yontif. We know that birthdays were never after Moshe Rabbeinu, from Moshe Rabbeinu until today, until Rebbe Rashab, we don't know of any big deal making out of a birthday. Yes, Yitzchak Avinu and Moshe Rabbeinu, and that's it. Remember what Yitzchak Avinu accomplished by his birthday? The Mishkan that was ready on Kislev was delayed until Nisan. Hashem said, I want to combine the two joys, the joys of Yitzchak's birth with the joy of the final construction of the Mishkan. So although it was ready in Kislev, it was delayed until Nisan, joining the two simchas together. The simcha of Binyan HaMishkan, the simcha of the Yemeledes of Yitzchak Avinu. And we mentioned in the other class, the connection. Yitzchak was the first Jew to be born, to have his bris on the 8th day. After 7 days of wait, finally he has circumcision bris on day 8. And the Mishkan was built after 7 days of dedication, 7 days of Miluim, and on the 8th day, Rosh Chodesh Nisan. So they're both connected to 8. Yitzchak was also born through a miracle, as we all know. And Nisan is all about miracles, so they go together. And we also mentioned Moshe Rabbeinu's birthday is what gave Purim, our holiday Purim. And Haman had a downfall thanks to the fact that that day that he selected, that month he selected to destroy God forbid, destroy the Jewish people, turned out to be the day of his destruction. Thanks to the fact that it was very inauspicious for him, because it was Moshe Rabbeinu's birthday on the same day Moshe passed away. He only knew about the fact that Moshe passed away. He did not know Moshe was born that day. Talk more about it on Purim. So that's finished. But from then on, we don't find any mentioning of a birthday of any tzaddik, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Rambam. Not called the Yontif. Why is it the Alter Rebbe so we answered the question with the understanding of what a birthday actually means. What is that? A birthday is when a baby is born, unlike when a baby is inside its mother's womb, the baby becomes an independent live entity. When the baby is inside its mother's womb, the baby has a body, perfect body, complete, just as all the organs, every body part is there, just like when the baby's born. What's missing is, number one, the baby is living off its mother. The life of the baby and the actual body of the baby are two separate things. It's living off something, like an object inside a container. When does a baby become self-sustained in an independent life, where the body becomes a live entity, not a piece of flesh that has life in it, transformed into a live entity, which means the body becomes the exterior of the soul, and the soul becomes the interior of the body. They form as one. Mentioned last week, the word Adam is neither soul, neither neshama or guf, because we often say Besar ha'adam, the flesh of man, and we say the soul of man. So who's man? Man meaning people, not the soul, not the body. You know what the answer is? The union, the synthesis of the two opposites. When soul and body, neshama and guf, become one, that's the definition of Adam. Adam is Aleph Dam. Aleph stands for the neshama, which comes from Hashem Echad, and Dam is the blood, which is the chayas of the body, and they are all part of one word. That we mentioned last week. Now, just like in Gashmias, a born child is a child who's now an independent being, which is why we make a simcha out of it. The same is true with Yiddishkeit. Before the Baal Shem Tov, Yiddishkeit and your personal life were two separate things. Yes, people observed every mitzvah. We did it with a chayit. We were inspired. Yiddishkeit added meaning and inspiration and excitement and being Jewish. No question about it. And we said, what would it be? What would life be worth without it? It's an enhancer. It seasons like salt and pepper to your meal. It beautifies, and it glorifies what life is all about. So much more meaning. So proud to be a Jew. That we had before the Baal Shem Tov. But it was still your life, which goes without. And then there is the addition of Yiddishkeit. That's great, but not good enough. Comes the Baal Shem Tov, and he infused within every single Jew that Yiddishkeit is not something added onto your life, but that would be like a baby living off its mother. You're living off Judaism, but it's not you. But rather, just like in Gashmias, the baby's soul and body become one, so too Judaism and your personal life are one and the same. It's hard to define exactly what that means, simply speaking. We're talking about a Jew whose emunah in Hashem is so powerful. He has such a powerful belief and vision, like he visualizes a truth that he can't put into words and can't put into, logical sentences. It's not like you understand. I just know. It's an neshama experience. The Baal Shem Tov infused, his name was Yisrael, infused in every single Jew this ability to relate to Hashem so natural, just as natural it is to wake up in the morning and get dressed and eat. You don't have to think, should I do that? Should I not do that? It's part of your normal life. You don't have to think about anything. You got to think about, shall I sit and learn? Shall I, mitzvah? That's secondary, maybe not secondary, but it doesn't come as easy as getting up in the morning, getting dressed, and having your breakfast. And of course, you also daven. You understand what I'm saying? But the reality of Judaism is so deep, you can't separate that from who you are. And we gave the example of the halacha of the Mishnah Rabbi. It says, Ani lo nivresi, I was not created. Every Jew says this. Ani lo nivresi, I was not created for any other purpose other than to serve my maker. So we asked the question, why does it focus on the negative? Ani lo nivresi. Tagid yashar. Ani nivresi, I was created to serve God. Why do you have to speak as a roundabout and say I was not created for any other reason than to serve Hashem? That was the question the Rebbe asked him. And the answer the Rebbe gave is because it's not only you were created for a purpose. The purpose defines your existence. Judaism defines who you are. It doesn't enhance who you are, it defines who you are. Ani lo nivresi, there's no ani, I don't have an I. I'm not here. When do I kick in? When I hear that God has a plan, he wants service, he wants l'shamash eskoni, then my ani comes into the picture. I pop into existence only after God has a plan. How strong is my existence? As much as Hashem allows for it. I don't feel myself unless I'm here for service. It's the most humble humble feeling you could possibly have, but it's also the most rewarding feeling that you're part of something so much higher than what you think you are. You're much deeper, much greater than how you look at yourself. You're part of, you're an ambassador, you're an extension of godliness. That's who you really are, not what you think you are. The Baal Shem Tov revealed that. Comes the Alter Rebbe and says that's not enough. Because when the baby is born, a second thing also happens. Besides the fact that the life of the baby and the baby's body become one, what other thing is missing in the fetus? What's lacking in the fetus that you have when the baby is born? Huh? Very good, excellent. Senses. The baby doesn't have had eyes, but has eyes and cannot see with it. Has ears and hears nothing. The senses are not working. The particular functions of the baby are not working. Here's what the Alter Rebbe's contribution is. It's not enough just to have the Baal Shem Tov type of chayes, which is emunah, where you put your seichel. It's so powerful that it just drugs all the different faculties, and all the faculties just like merge into that emunah, and they lose their power to function because who needs it? If I see something, if I have a visual experience in a godly experience, I don't need to understand it. So it doesn't. It's all a big deal. My intellect will not fight it because it's overwhelmed by something so much greater than it. That's not good enough, says the Alter Rebbe. That's a good beginning. I don't want there to be a conflict between how you think and how you believe. I want your emunah and your seichel, which is sometimes so very questionable, very skeptical. People that are skeptics, often because they have a lot of minds, they have a lot of brain talent, and they question everything. This Chabad is all about make peace between cold intellect and whatever comes as a result of intellect, your emotions that are stirred because of what you understand. Make peace between that and the warm influx of your neshama, which gave you the emunah. Why should there be a contradiction? Why should there be a clash between the two? Put them together. Join them together. That's powerful. That seichel enusha, human logic, on its own, should dictate what emunah dictates. It should come from within. And every single part of your organism, every part of you should be involved in its own way. Like, my intellect is only here to understand Hasidus, understand Hashem. That's its purpose. Whatever is connected to Hashem, I'll use my intellect for. It has no other purpose. Emotions are there to love Hashem and love people you're supposed to love. Love every single Jew. Love your spouse. But not to love the wrong things. I don't have every part of me is there just for one purpose. This is the contribution of Chabad. There's a lot more than that, but I want to skip around. Now, there's a third thing that happens to a baby when a baby is born that's missing in its fetal stage. What is that? How'd you know? Huh? You know what? At least you remember. Okay, thank you. Baby, when the baby is born, you hear the baby crying. Now we can hear the baby. Inside his mother's womb, you don't really know the baby. Maybe mother may feel something, moving around, but you don't hear. You don't hear any sound. Baby's not making any sounds inside the mother's womb. It's not crying. It's happy. It's learning Kol HaTorah Kula, so it has no reason to cry there. It's enjoying its stay in its mother's womb. Everyone sees the baby. Oh, looks like the mother. Looks like the father. Look at me. Look, everyone's kissing the baby. You can't do that. So it has an impact on the world around us. If you are in touch with Chabad Chassidus, which is infuse life in every part of the way you think, the way you feel, the way you walk, then it will also affect other people. You're not going to just be a life living on your own, separate from the world around you. You're going to go, because if you are alive, not living off, when you're alive, essentially you give life. The nature of life is, it's contagious. Neshama. Just being in the body doesn't have to do anything. Just being in the body creates a transformation. The body turns into a live entity. It makes something else like itself. So that's the power of Chassidus, is to not just stay put and remain a Chassid Sita with all with the Baal Shem Tov quality and the Alter Rebbe's quality, but also to spread the word and to be a live wire in terms of affecting the world around you. The world around you sees you. They also get, influenced, and they also get this light, and they pass it along to others. tell you a lot of stories about this. How life is contagious. By definition, if you're alive, you'll make other people alive too. And not just other people, everything you come in contact with, including modern technology. It's another instrument to serve Hashem, the internet. All this social media, which could be used for who knows what, is used for Kedusha. This is connected to a Torah. I want to just mention one more thing. In the Sikha, the Rebbe quotes something powerful. The Rebbe Rashab comes down to on a Friday night. He actually had this, he didn't say it on Friday night, but he actually told his son, the previous Rebbe, I want to tell you something. Last Friday night, I was in Shamayim, and I heard 7 Torahs for the Baal Shem Tov. 2 of them were from men and were from female souls and male souls, and the other 5 were just for the male souls, which is strange. And I'm going to tell you 2 of them. The other 5 I can't tell you. 2 of them I'm going to tell you what he said. I'll just share with you one. Last week's parsha, which says, when you come to the land, you are to dwell in it, then take the first fruits and put it into a basket. So here's how he translated it. I just heard fresh report from Gan Eden. Can you imagine someone just comes down and tells you, I was just there in Gan Eden, and this is what the Baal Shem Tov was saying. He's saying when you get to the land, what is a land? Land means Eretz Yisrael, but it also means something else. The word Eretz and Ratzon, or Rath, same etymology. When you come to this fervent, powerful passion of wanting and running towards the Lakus, when that happens, when you've reached that level, don't remain there. Don't just, wow. Put it, the Yashaftaba, let it settle. Put it into a basket, so-called basket. Put all that feeling, that desire and running towards godliness, which is a very great gift coming from on high. That's like the Baal Shem Tov's gift. Put that into Kalim. Put that out, in other words, the Alter Rebbe's contribution. Make sure that it affects every single facet of your life. Be multifaceted in Judaism, not just one general, one track minded. Emunah. Let that emunah spread into every little nook and cranny of who you are. And Kiddush and Yiddishkeit can be multifaceted. I mentioned last week the 2 types of tzaddikim. One tzaddik is so incredible that you can put as much salt as you want in the food and you won't taste it. He's in a different world. The other tzaddik, and fish and meat taste the same thing. All the same. He's beyond it. He doesn't even feel a taste. Another tzaddik says, are you kidding me? Fish doesn't taste like meat. Meat doesn't taste like fish. The Dvar Hashem in the fish is a different taste. He's not tasting the fish, he's tasting the Dvar Hashem in the fish, and the Dvar Hashem in the meat. So he sees a lakus in different, he sees godliness in so many different ways. And that's what the Alter Rebbe wanted to contribute, make peace between Emunah and Seichel. I mentioned last week about the payas, why we don't have payas in Chabad. And the rest of the, by opposed to Hasidim, we have long payas. So the hair of the head is keser. That's why little babies till they're 3 have a lot of hair on their head, because they don't operate up to Seichel. They operate seemingly irrationally speaking, but really it's super rational. There's a story with the Rebbe. Kid was driving the parents crazy. I remember this on Sunday morning after we saw it. And the kid stood right by the Rebbe. The Rebbe gave a look. Stop crying. It's wasn't a miracle. The Rebbe was able to register the keser of that expression that he can't be put into words, what's bothering the child, whatever related to that emunah, whatever you want to call it, that powerful surge of energy that the child is trying to express, but he can't say, he can't put it into words, and we can't apply it. He finally understands me. Adults don't understand babies. They don't get it. What are you crying for? We're too, with Kester, there were 2, 3, they're in their babyhood, they have a lot of hair. Boys at least have it. Girls have hair. The boys have hair until they're 3. Then the beard stands for Chachmas Hima, the most esoteric or hidden level of wisdom. Not esoteric, hidden wisdom, very deep wisdom. And the payas is the bridge. let's not make a conflict between the Keser, which is the all-encompassing power, like Amunah, and Chachma. Have the payas go right into the beard. No contradiction. It's a bridge. Or you can have like the Polish Chassidim. Drown out your seichel. Feh. Kashas. What do you have kashas for? You have all this. You have the Amunah and Hashem. You need to understand everything. Just live with the Amunah. Line your payas. Drown out. Don't look at the beard. Cover it. We don't have that. The Arizal was against having long payas, like it's cute, but we don't have long payas. Okay, this is the Nakuda. I mean, Mom is not really doing justice. This is the Nakuda of the Sikha we learned last week. I want to go to the next Sikha. So if you all have it, I'll give it out.
The beard also have to do with the movie that's adopted.
Yeah.
But primarily Pokemon or primarily Rockman, like what is it?
Or never class. Good question.
So this reminds you why we don't have a cell in the table.
Why what?
Why we don't have a cell in the table.
Okay, you reminded me.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Doesn't mean I'm gonna talk about it.
Sorry.
Doesn't mean I'm gonna talk about it. I now thank you for reminding me. I will discuss that one another time. I want to learn the secret. About what? Of the pale thing.
Why, you said the kids are, but it's not head, but it's also, there's been, like they're both like me.
The hair, not the head, the hair on the head.
That's
The hair, Dina's here, that's kissing. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. I'm not gonna get into them now. What about little girls? I'm not gonna get into that right now because it's a whole conversation, not for today. Okay, let's see the secret inside, in one half. Okay, so here's the secret, which is based on the Haftorah of Rosh Hashanah. Story with the famous story with Chana and her husband Elkanah, who lived in Mount Ephraim, Ramat Tofim. And they used to visit Mishkan Shiloh. This is before David HaMelech, before the time of the building of the first base of Mikdash. Mishkan Shiloh stood for 369 years. It wandered from place to place, but it stayed most of the years after Yehoshua entered Eretz Israel, most of the years, 369. It was in the city of Shiloh. This is before David HaMelech, obviously. And Shlomo HaMelech, who built the first base of Mikdash. Anyway, so the story goes, it's in Shmuel Aleph. Here's the book. It's in English. It's Tanakh. Very good to buy. This is a phenomenal. The digest of all the commentaries on every pasuk in Tanakh. It has Shmuel Aleph, beginning of Shmuel Aleph, Shmuel Beis. Beginning of the first chapter. Shmuel Aleph talks about this whole story that Elkanah had 2 wives. He had Penina, who had 10 children, and she used to tease Chana. See, I have 10, you have nothing. Some say she meant L'Shem Shemaim, that to arouse a stronger will to finally have a child, because she felt when you tease someone, and I heard that, but personally, the more brokenhearted you are, the more you're going to dive into Hashem. That's what she wanted. Her co-wife should also have children. But anyways, she was childless for a long time. Elkanah loved her dearly. So they're sitting, Elkanah comes to Shiloh. This is a Yom Tov. Some say it's after Rosh Hashanah, but many say it was not Rosh Hashanah. It was during one of the 3 holidays. They're coming for pilgrimage. They're coming to be Ola Regel on one of the holidays, and they have a lavish meal, and she's not eating. She's grieving. She's sad. She's in pain. He says to her, "Halo Anochi, I am more dear to you. I should be more dear. My love to you, my relationship to me, be more dear than 10 children." She didn't respond. A question like that you can't answer. She didn't respond. He walks out and goes towards the Mishkan. Eli is sitting there on his throne, right by the mezuzah, right by the doorpost of the Heichal Hashem, Mishkan Shiloh, and she starts pouring out her heart. And you can't hear her. There's no audible sounds. Moving her lips. She's praying, please give me Zera Anoshim. I want to have not just children, I want to have a tzaddik. I want to have someone who's equal to Moshe and Aaron. Can you imagine? You're asking for not only a child, you're asking for someone to be a tzaddik. By the way, never sleep with whatever. She didn't only asked for something she wasn't destined to have, by the way, but she was infertile, she was barren. It's also a miracle. But what made her prayer so special, even more than Rivka, who was also barren, she asked Hashem to break the rules of free choice. Born a tzaddik, not just any tzaddik. A Novi equal to Shmuel, to Aaron and Moshe, together. Could you imagine? And she got what she wanted. Wow. That's why we learn all the halachas of tefillah from her. Because the ultimate prayer is when you break barriers. You learned I'm actually going off on a tangent here. There's a bracha versus tefillah, blessing versus prayer. What's the difference? Who knows? A bracha, the word bracha means brecha, a pool of fortune that's already on the way to you. And it gets stuck in the upper realms. You got to bring it down. The word bracha also means to draw down. But when you graft a branch of a tree, there's hamavrich. So bracha means two things. There's a pool, there's already a lot of energy coming to you, but it's getting stuck. The plumbing system is not working. And we need a tzaddik to draw it down, make it happen. But it's not really creating anything new. Your destiny is already happening, but it's getting stuck. A tefillah it's not, there's nothing there. Nothing there for you. It was decreed, no. You're not going to have any children. You're not going to have any success in your business and in your financial life. Decreed. And then we ask Hashem, I know, let there be a new Ratzon. Yehi Ratzon. You didn't want until now. We're asking you to start wanting. We're digging deeper where it will change your rules. Wow. But that's not as powerful as her tefillah. The ultimate tefillah, which is why we learn all the halachas of davening. You daven Shmoneh, you have to be quiet. You can't be drunk when you're davening. We'll see about drunkard. Her tefillah was, I should have a tzaddik for a child. You can be a nazir, which is also strange. He was a nazir. He was a tzaddik from birth. And I will give him, this child is a child on loan from Hashem. The word Shmuel means Shama. God should hear she named him Shmuel. Finally, her tefillahs were heard. And she named the baby Shmuel. Shmuel has the word Shama. Hashem heard my prayers. And Shaul also, the word Shin I Aleph Vav Lamed are also included in the word Shmuel, which means he's a borrow. He's a loan from Hashem. He's not my child. I'm taking till he reaches, and then he's going to the Beis Hamikdash. He's there. I'm dedicating him to Hashem. I want a child like that. What she said. Eli watches her and looks at her, and after she finishes, he's watching, observing everything until she finishes for a long time. She stood there perhaps for an hour. We don't know how long. She's pouring out her heart. What does he say to her? Ad masai tishtak koren. How long are you going to be a drunkard? How long are you going to be intoxicated, inebriated with your wine? Get some get some, therapy. Yeah.
Is he talking about intoxication on wine?
Well, that's what it seems like. I'll get 1 second. The simple shot says wine. Hasidi es yenik. Hasidi es, remove your wine. Which simple shot, all the Mefarshim, except for the Rebbe, who learned it differently. Smart. Remove the wine. In other words, he's considering her a drunkard. Well, I ask you a question. If you see a woman walking into a shul, not the middle of davening, walking into a shul, she's here is done, and she's walking and she's crying her heart out. There must be a drunkard. Who's going to feel that way? And you got to even forget about Eli. Any average person with some sense of empathy and sensitivity will never accuse a woman who's brokenhearted as being into drugs or into alcohol. And Eli wasn't just he was not only was he a Kohen, he was a Kohen Gadol. And a Kohanim, and he was also a Shofet, a judge. He was a Shofet of the generation who have the ability to see through people. How could he have made a mistake like that? Question number one. Question number two, we know that Torah does not disparage even a non-kosher animal. A non-kosher animal, a story with Noah. By Noah, it says, take all your kosher animals and those that are not kosher. It doesn't say tamei, impure. It says who are not tahor. The Torah could have said, like it usually does, concisely, behema hatmeya. Noah was told, take behema haTorah, take the pure, and take the behema that is not it wasted 13 or 8 extra letters. Not to disparage a trape animal. Now, the trape animal is never going to know what it says in the Torah. Not going to get red in the face and I feel so insulted. And yet the Torah cares about the integrity of an animal, a trape animal. If it's not halacha, the Torah will go roundabout a way and just try to be like the Rebbe always spoke positive, The Rebbe would always say good and the opposite of good. Life and the opposite of life. He didn't use the word death. The Rebbe hated the word deadline. He didn't like the word deadline. No negativity, it's positive. So if you don't want to disparage an animal, trape animal, you're going to disparage a Jew, a Kohen Gadol. Why is the story so important? Just get to the point. She davened, and Hashem listened to her. Why do we have to disparage Eli? Because Eli was he understood very wrong. What a mistake from one extreme to the other extreme. But why put down Eli? Third question, if, as you just said, if it really was Shikker, drunkard with wine, why did he wait until she finished? Get her out. Have her, you have someone to tell lady, I'm sorry, you can't be in the leave. We don't look, it's inappropriate. Yeah.
Also, why would someone drunk on wine going in knowingly have the merit of this child? It just doesn't add up.
Well, he didn't know about it. He didn't know what she was asking for. He didn't tell him, but later on, 1 second later, when she reprimanded him, he understood. And of course, he agreed with her. And he gave her a bracha too. But in the beginning, before he knew, as he was suspecting her of being, intoxicated, so the Rebbe says that's obvious. It wasn't wine intoxication. Let's see what's inside. It was something else. And that will answer all the 3 questions. And then we're going to understand how deep Eli was. But the feminine now is deeper. She was deeper than him. And everybody explains Eli on such a high level, and you could think, whoa, what is Hannah going to answer? And Hannah did say to her, didn't him, Lo Adonai, no. She should have said, excuse me, how dare you insult me? She didn't say that. What did she say? No, I'm brokenhearted. But she didn't in any way focus on how disturbing his insults are, because he wasn't insulting her in the way we think he was insulting her. He was actually talking about something on a very high level, because he was a Kohen Gadol. But if you're Chana, and it's a feminine knowledge that transcends transcendence, that's what we say. Transcending transcendence. Let's try to get a taste of what this is all about. Okay, the Sikha again, we're going to start this week and have to finish it next week, as we always do. And never get anything done, no problem. You got the Sikha, yeah? Everyone has? Yeah. Vav Tishrei. Vav Tishrei is, of course, the yard site of the Rebbe's mother, we all know. I was at the Fabrengen. And the Rebbe was told in the middle of Fabrengen that his mother is in the hospital. That she passed away on Shabbos. The Rebbe stopped the Fabrengen. The Rebbe went into the ambulance on Shabbos. For his being with his mother together. So anyways. This is Caleb, your test. Volume 19. You don't have it? You don't have it? Okay. I haven't found the English. Maybe if you find it, phenomenal. But we can learn a little Hebrew now. Yes, Lil Moed, Mitfilas Chana, Hayro, Lagabe, Avodas, page 313, first page, Hayehudi, Rosh Hashanah. Behaftorah, Hayom Rishon Shal Rosh Hashanah, Haftorah. We know what the Haftorah is? Who knows what the word Haftorah means? Just carry away the first word. What's Haftorah mean? We know what it is. It's the Kriya of a Navi, a portion of the Nevi'im that relates to the part of the week. Because once upon a time, there was a decree against reading from the Torah. So they substituted reading from the Navi, which a topic that seems to fit very well with the parsha of the week. But what the word Haftorah actually means, ending? Can't hear you. Ending? Yes, very good. You say, a maftir, maftir means to conclude. It could also mean to open up. Peter rechem. A baby was 30, firstborn baby, boy, gets a pidyon aben. What's it dependent on? The mother's firstborn, not the father's firstborn. Whoever opened up the womb. Peter, sounds like Haftorah. Peter, pei tezresh. We're allowed to talk. During Kriyas Torah, we're not allowed to talk. Once the Kriya is over, you're allowed to discuss halacha in the middle of Haftorah. You're allowed to open your mouth, keter, open. Or, like patur, you could be exempt from the laning as they were by reading part of the Navi. Anyway, the Haftorah, the first day of Rosh Hashanah, the Haftorah of Hayom HaRishon Shal Rosh Hashanah, Tchila Sefer Shmuel, the beginning of the Sefer called Shmuel Aleph, Misupar Al Chana, Eshes Elkanah. It tells you the whole story. Tochen HaHaftorah, the tochen of the Haftorah is B'tchilo LaChana Ingeladim. At the beginning, Chana had no children, V'yachakach, and afterwards, B'emsos, through the median of her tefillah, vis-a-vis her prayer, V'hiyosa b'mishkan Shiloh, while she was at the Mishkan Shiloh, in its kedesh, she was remembered. Hashem remembered her with his child, and the child was no one else but Shmuel Hanavi. Mataras Kriyas Haftorah, the Chagim, the purpose of the reading of the Haftorah by the holidays is Kibishar Haftorah, like the rest of the Haftorahs, who bedoma lekriyas HaTorah. It's similar to Torah. What does Torah actually mean? A lesson in life, not just some nice laws too. It's a lesson to learn. That's why we don't know too much about, how much do we know about Adam HaRishon? He lived 900, over 900 years, almost 1,000 years. What do we know about him? He ate from the Eitz Hadas. Person lived over 900 years. That's all we know about him. You can imagine how many things we don't know about him. And the Torah doesn't mention a word. Avram lived 175 years. What do we know? Not too much. Things that could take probably a few minutes. Describe his whole life. That's his whole life. Well, a lot of things that happen in Avram Avinu's life, Yitzchak's life, that we don't know, because it's not important for us to know. Whatever is relevant for us today, that's what Torah tells you. So Torah means a lesson. The Haftorah is also a lesson. If it's part of Torah, then it's a lesson in life. A lesson that we read on Rosh Hashanah. It's a Rosh Hashanah lesson. It has to do with the theme of Rosh Hashanah. I'm going to skip around a little bit. What Rabbi says here is, what is the simple reason why we read the Haftorah about Chana on Rosh Hashanah? Who knows? Because, right. And some even say that it was Rosh Hashanah when she prayed. Her prayer was on Rosh Hashanah. But that's not it. That's it? No, there's a thematic connection between Rosh Hashanah and the prayer of Chana. Since the most important part of the Haftorah, what brought on Shmuel Hanavi? Her tefillah. And since the Torah tells us about Eli's exchange with her, the Eli Chana debate, if you understand that debate, you're perfectly in tune to understand the davening of Rosh Hashanah, which is very complex. Because there's a paradox, as we soon mentioned, there's a big paradox when it comes to a tefillah Rosh Hashanah. What's the paradox? Who can tell me what the paradox is? It's very strange. Rosh Hashanah is all about crowning king. Melech, 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 HaMelech. It starts over that word. HaMelech. Melech Elyon, Melech Evin, Adim, like Melech. I mean, full with Malchus, Malchus, Malchus. Crowning Hashem as king. Inauguration day. Think of nothing but the Melech. And then you have a whole paragraph. Proclaim the mightiness of this day. Who will live? Who will die? Who will this? Who will that? People are in tears. People are shaking when it. Who's gonna me yishapel, me yarum. It's the Chazan says with a certain kind of sound that scares you. And it's all about praying for our needs. Needs? Who has needs? It's crowning Hashem as king. And a king is not even a president. King is someone who is above and beyond. A good person, not a dictator. We mentioned in the last class. A tzaddik who people want. And we're begging, please accept our kingdom. A normal king says no until you make him want. But Rabbi did not want to become a Nasi. Moshe Rabbeinu did not want to be Moshe Rabbeinu. He wanted Aaron to someone else. Well, me, who am I? I'm not worthy of it. That's what made him worthy of it. But anyways, it has to come from the people. So likewise, by every melech, it's that way. It should be that way. People proclaim him and want him and beg him. So the question is, that's the case. Could you imagine, even by a president? I heard this parable. Imagine if there's an inauguration of a person that everyone in the world wants. No, it's not triathlon. It's even imagine today. They have someone that everyone wants. Right, left, center. This is a person that can save the world. And everyone's begging. And he says no. begging, and all in unison. You see, Melech, in all kinds of language and words. People are begging and crying, and their eyes are closed, begging. People are begging, please, 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 please. And the king is finally, about to say yes. Along comes an elderly person. Excuse me, king, I have potholes in my street, and you're the boss. Can you delegate somebody to fix the pothole? Potholes are very important to fix. And yes, the king is responsible for all the needs of the people for civilization. Make things orderly and normal and cares, but that's not for today. That's for tomorrow. Now, all are in unison. We're not thinking about our individual needs now. We don't have any needs. Our only need is Melech. So how is it in Rosh Hashanah we focus on Hashem's kingdom, which means there's no you. I'm not there in the picture. Complete subordination to a higher authority, because that's what you need. He has to see that you really, really, really need it. If you have other things in your mind while you're saying, long live the king, he doesn't get aroused with that. He wants to see how real it is, how real our desire is. That being the case, how can we at the same time focus on my needs? In fact, the Zohar says people who ask, I want this, I want that, are like dogs who only say, give, and don't give back anything. So let's see the Sikha. I'm going to skip a little bit. Let's get to the answer to the question we asked about drunkardness. Turn the page. Page 314, where it says Gimel on the right side. Hasicha ben Eli al-Kohen leben Chana einena al shikras kipshuta is not about being inebriated with wine or some other kind of beverage, alcoholic beverage. That's not what he was saying to her. He's Eli al-Kohen. He could see past that. And we're not disparaging Eli either. He didn't make a terrible mistake. And also, we understand why he waited, because he understood that Hannah is not a shikara in a simple sense. She's pouring out her heart. So what was his mistake? So why did he call her a drunkard? He calls her, move on, he says. He didn't consider her lo hechshiva. He didn't consider her like chashut. Kishvikara as a shikar b'mashmalos hapsuta, with a simple implication of the word shikar. Ella shikara b'inat tefillah. He was intoxicated with her excessive praying about I need, I. He didn't know what she was praying for, but whatever it was, she is intoxicated, inebriated with self-need. What Eli was trying to say is, stop asking Hashem what you need, ask what you're needed for. Ask not what Hashem, what objective truth can do for you. Ask what you can do for truth, what you can do for Hashem. Kennedy got it from here. That's not, instead of telling Hashem how great your problems are, tell your problems how great Hashem is. Stop it. I mean, there's a thing where he's standing in front of a Mishkan, and especially according to the Shalat, it was on Rosh Hashanah, and this is all you can think about? Can't you focus? Can't you transcend go beyond yourself? I know it's Ruchnius. I'm sure you're down for Ruchnius also. Whatever it is, but it's your Ruchnius. Not a time for that. It wasn't suspecting her of being a drunkard, which is not sneeze for a woman, Klal, but a drunkard in a holy place. God forbid. He could see right through her. She was a prophetess, by the way. And he was asking, you? A prophetess? You should be on a higher madrega. You're Chanale, what's wrong with you? This is Eli HaKohen Gadol speaking to her. But Chana was deeper. Let's see inside here. What did she answer? Look on the next side of the page, on the left side on top, the second paragraph. It's an outpour of the deepest part of my soul. You're misunderstanding me. I'm not into myself. I'm not davening. What she was saying, as we'll soon see, was not, I'm not davening so I can have my needs, but for something else. It's an outpour of the Yechidim Shebenefesh. It's not personal. It's much deeper than that. It's deeper than what you're talking about, by the way, Bailey. You're talking about transcendence. I am transcending transcendence. Now, what does this mean? Let me explain to you outside, and we'll see it inside of it. Again, Eli was a Kohen. Kohen, the male way of looking at things, especially if you're a Kohen, is heaven and earth don't get along. A Kohen's gadol does not leave the premises, even to a levaya, a funeral of his own family members, unless it's a mace mitzvah with no one else there to bury the person. A Kohen Gadol, like a regular Kohen, is completely secluded, isolated from society. He's in the world, or he's in the base of Mikdash his whole life. Wow, it's like the Kohen Gadol. He views self needs. You're asking about yourself. How could that coincide with the bittul you're supposed to have when you're standing before the king? You're standing in the holy place, Mishkan Shiloh, especially on Rosh Hashanah. It doesn't fit. So here's the answer. Here's the answer to the question also about Rosh Hashanah's two prayers, two different themes. The theme of Malucha, 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 and the themes are pray for your life, but who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if you'll make it this year? Mi Yichyehu, Mi Amos, Mi Shafel, Mi Aron, Mi, who will lose all his finances, who will gain, who will. Not a contradiction. Why? The Rebbe says like this. First of all, he asked, wait a second, can't we ask the same question about every Shmon Esrei throughout the year? Why is my question only about Rosh Hashanah? You're davening Shmon Esrei, you're standing in front of the king, you can't even open your mouth, you're saying, Hashem, open my mouth. I can't express words in front of you. I can't make any gestures. I can't even speak in front of you. So help me talk. Hashem, sfosai, my lips, open up my lips so I can tell you your praises. We bittul. And yet, what do we ask for? What we ask for sleep, okay, but we ask for Baruch Aleinu, Rifa'enu, heal us, all the needs. Is that a time to ask your needs when you're standing in complete submission to Hashem, where you can't even talk? You have the right to ask for your personal needs. But the Rebbe said that's not a kasha. That I have no problem with. But once you coronate the king now has accepted his Maluka, he's already an active king. Now, with the great respect and reverence, he wants you to ask. He wants you to put your belief and trust in him. He wants you to associate your needs to him. Once he's Melech. The question is on Rosh Hashanah, he's not a Melech yet. He has to first want to become a king. It's not timely at the time that he has not yet accepted the coronation to start asking for your need. That's the question.
It's like the guy that came up and asked to fix the pothole when he wasn't even-
Right. It doesn't make any sense. That would even be crazy for a president. How much more so a Melech, who's a real. We don't have any kings today. It doesn't sound like it. The Western culture doesn't like the word monarchy. Sounds straight. We don't even know what a Melech is. We're used to dictators. The very few beloved kings. So what's the answer? The answer is, as we all know, famous medrash, that the Eibishter says, my essential desire is to have a dida b'tachtonim, to have a dwelling place down here. I'm not comfortable being in heaven. That's not why I created the world here. I want to feel at home. Feeling at home means I don't have to put up a show and dress myself like a melech, royal garb. That's dressing myself. That's adapting. I want this world to be such a natural abode, natural place for my residence, that I should feel more at home over here than I feel in Shemayim. Shemayim is sophistication. Hashem is in his royal garb. All these high madrigas are revealed. On earth, seems to be a place where king is not even known over here. Hashem says, I believe, I trust and I believe that my desire can be fulfilled. That this world should be a dwelling place where I can feel at home. I don't want to be homeless. I want to have, I don't want a home up there. That's not why I created this world. I want to have a home down here. That is Hannah to Eli. You have a problem. You're limited in transcendence. You can't imagine how when a person asks their need, they don't actually mean, I need a child. Why do I need a child? So I can feel comfortable with all my other friends who have their carriages. I don't feel left out. Many women who can have no children feel very uncomfortable walking with their classmates who already have 2 or 3 children. So you want to fit in, right? It's a very normal desire, never normal, wanting. It's human nature. Can't blame a person for having that. You think that's why I want to have a child? I wasn't asking for a child, so I shouldn't be childless. I was asking for a child who would be your child. I don't treat it as mine. In fact, after he's 2 years old, he's gonna be in the Beis Hamikdash the whole time. Alone from God. You ever hear of Shmuel Lu? Shmuel Lu is a shliach in England. He once said, from Reagan, shared something very private. He said he had terrible anger management problems. He used to hit his kids very hard. And it bothered him. The kids were scared of him. And he couldn't control himself. And he finally decided, I have to ask the Rebbe for an answer, for advice, what to do. And Yechidus, the Rebbe looked at him and said, you hit other people, other children also? He said, no, of course not. Why not? Rebbe asked him, why not? Why don't you hit other kids also? They're also doing wrong things. But they're not mine. The Rebbe gave him a penetrating look. You think your children are yours? Alone on high. You're their caretakers. These are God's ambassadors on this world. Having a child is another way of creating a dwelling place for Hashem. Children down here and all the needs we have down here are really connecting heaven and earth. Eli Cohen couldn't see the fusion between heaven and earth. He was so removed from this world, such a high madrega. He looked at having needs of this world to be something that could only be self-centered. He couldn't see the feminine look, whose feminine look was able to see Elikus in the world without any contradiction. He was saying, I'm pouring out the Yechidus of Benefesh. My desire is the Eibushter's desire. Because Hashem wants a Tida B'Tachtonim, I need to have all my needs taken care of. I need to have children. I need to have a healthy home. My home should be the Beis Hamikdash. Why do I need a cleaning lady? Because my house is a Beis Hamikdash. It's inappropriate for the king to dwell in my house if it doesn't look clean. And she really felt that way. He felt it. The Rebbe asks, okay, that's Chana. The average person doesn't feel that way. The average person, when you ask for your needs, simply means for selfish reasons. I want to have, I need it. No one cares about Hashem so much. So if you're Chana, yes, then Hashem's Malucha, Hashem's kingdom goes right in, fits right in with praying for your needs, because your needs are Hashem's needs. For Hashem to be a melech, for him to be a real king and run the show and be felt down here, what the whole world has in awareness. We are fully aware of Hashem's presence. That's what it means, Hashem to be our king. We should feel his presence. For that, we need to have good life, the Gashmias too. Hashem wants our Gashmias. We can't make a Dita B'Tachtoinu if we don't have any things that are fit, you have to have Tachtoinu. We have to have the world and worldly things in order to make that Dira. Okay, beautiful. But the average person is not that level of Chana. So how come the average person davens? And I'm finally. Okay. Sorry about that. I will continue next week with the question, beautiful question, beautiful answer the Rebbe gives. The story that I have when I was in Central America in Panama. I told this to a little Spanish boy in Panama, and it turned on, I don't know how it ignited his soul. So I'm going to share with you next week what I did finish this week. Okay. May you or can you? Yeah, of course.
After before that, so I was thinking like if you're saying Hashem wants our God, or also his, can't we?